steps should we initiate first to best realize an RBE? Okay, well, I have explained this in previous podcasts. There are quite, and just to quickly recap them here, there are quite a few things you can do, such as getting off the grid, exploring your capacity and ability to live self-sufficiently by growing your own food, either by using soil or hydroponics, just not submitting to as much as you can to the system. Just don't support it anymore. It's like what Keelan Balderson said recently, that if you don't like the oil industry, then find ways of not spending your money on oil. If you don't like the propaganda on TV, then turn the television off. But when it comes down to it, these tangible measures are only part of the transition. The real transition must be a transition of consciousness, of thinking, of values, of mindset. It's why Mohandas Gandhi said, we must be the change we want to see in the world. And that's the whole point here. Anyway, question 8. How will you get everyone to agree with you? Okay, well, it's not a case of getting everyone to agree with us. It's really a matter of building a large enough critical mass of people that will be able to spread this information in a clear and concise way. I mean, once a certain amount of people are in full receipt and full understanding of it and spreading that out, then the whole thing will become viral. When demonstrating the proposals with a test city, for example, the feasibility of an RBE will be self-evident. When it comes to the question of how many people exactly it would take to realise an RBE, in fact, Doug Millett has actually done a very good and also comfortingly short video on YouTube that deals with this. It's called "Population to Convince." If you can't find the video by the title, look on YouTube for TZM Social Evolution. That's one word, and that's Doug's channel, so you can find it on there. Anyway, question 9. Resources and the ability to utilize those resources to generate product defines the value of money. I was briefly into the idea of a more resource-based economy, but there's far too many pitfalls with it, and generally speaking it would move society backwards technologically as well as socially. It's also a much less stable economic system, which that instability will ultimately lead to more war than we currently have. Okay, I'm sorry to say this to you, but you really have not researched an RBE well. If you're saying that a steady state economy is not stable, then I don't know what would convince you it is. I mean, but go back to the beginning of your question. I'm sorry to also correct you that money does not take its value from the resources that is governed by it. In fact, it's the opposite. Money has completely separated from tangible worth when it comes to resources. The value is only attributed to the resources, not the money. I mean, money is referred to as legal tender. What does that mean? It means that its value is dependent on how much money is already in circulation. It's fiat. That's what fiat currency means. The fact of the matter is that scarcity dictates the value of resources. The more scarce a resource is, the higher in value it is. That is why the current economy is based upon money and not resources. Think about it this way. If the economy was based upon resources, then how do we account for the poverty of countries that are indigenous to some of the most sought-after resources that we use today, such as oil? That is one of the contradictions of our economic system, isn't it? The countries that have the best resources should be the richest, not the poorest, by the standards of our current ways of doing things, but it seems backwards. But I'm not advocating the idea of restriction based, upon supposed value. I mean, a resource-based economy utilizes technology to create an access abundance for all people upon the planet and nullifies the need for money altogether. Anyway, question 10. It seems to me that people selling their skills is an effective means to make sure those skills are used. If I could get access to whatever resources I wanted without recourse to any debt or servitude, then why bother using or learning any skills at all? Where would the satisfaction in that sort of life be? Well, I can understand your will to want to keep skill sets. I personally completely agree. I mean, relinquishing our ability to do things does not serve us. I mean, say for example, hypothetically, a huge, catastrophic and unavoidable global natural disaster happened, or for whatever reason our automation and infrastructure stopped working. Where would we be without, at the very least, basic skill sets? We would be lost. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Skills should still be taught. I wholly advocate that. All right. However, we should also know that we shouldn't need to be dependent upon them. Okay, not primarily anyway, because skills are being replaced by machine automation. I mean, I'm talking about even in our current model. Industry is realizing that it is far cheaper and far more efficient to use a machine to replace a human worker. Consider the lift man or elevator man being replaced by automated elevators. Consider the car manufacturing industry. Machine automation has vastly reduced the need for human labour there. Machine automation is a natural progression of industry, and in our current economy, you have every right to fear machines, because they are cheaper to run than you, they are faster than you, they are more efficient than you, they don't get tired like you, and they don't make demands like you. So what needs to change? The state of technology or the economic conditions? Because personally, I would not hinder the progression of technology, because technology is what has enabled us to be as comfortable as we are today even. Is it reasonable to think, we want technology to make life easier for us? Hell, I don't want to perform all my daily tasks manually and time-consumingly, but I want technology not to progress to the point of being able to do my job better. No, I don't believe that's reasonable at all. The very word machine means labour-saving device. Did you know that? Why not allow technology to free us from more chores and problems? More chores and problems than we have already allowed it to free us from. The only reason why we don't make this leap is because without providing our labour for purchasing power, we can't survive. So which of those two things need to change? Is it a case that we've made a mistake to develop technology, or is it a case that we've made the mistake of making a labour for income economic system? In the society that I'm proposing, which is a resource-based economy, machines free man from jobs that can be automated, and since money doesn't exist anymore, the incentive system is also transformed. Think about the kind of incentives that will then arise from such freedoms, We cannot even begin to imagine the possibilities purely because the fact that the system we currently live in is so damn oppressive, and any suggestion for change is laughed at. The reason we laugh is because, we feel scared or unable to change the system, so we have this sort of ridicule and laughter reaction as a sort of knee-jerk reaction to suggestions of change. They know, but then again, they know nothing else, so they've been conditioned to feel threatened by anything that challenges the establishment. Okay, moving on. Question 11. The premise of that RBE thingy begs the question, why should anyone care about the world's condition after he or she is dead? Striving for optimality, presumes one cares about the world several generations hence. But just suppose one cares only about his life and nothing beyond. The using the world and losing it makes just as much sense and is a lot less difficult. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Ugh, God. Is this what we've become, humanity? Have we become this dead in our hearts? Okay, no one is being forced to care, okay? However, if you claim to care about people who happen to be younger than yourself, or if you happen to be a parent or related to a human being much younger than you, then your apathy concerning the state of the world after your death is tantamount to not caring about what kind of world that young person that you claim to care about will inherit. The depressing thing about this mentality is that I am hearing it more and more often now from people who have chosen to become parents or have become grandparents, and they claim to care so much about their children or grandchildren. I mean, I've said this, before on my podcast, that there's a major hypocrisy and despotism on the part of those who claim not to care and yet have children. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you squeeze one out, then sorry, you need to care. And that is the only reason why we're still here as a species, okay? Because people care. But if apathy is really your bag, then that will be all that your life will amount to, okay? So enjoy it. And don't complain, because you have your lot. And you should enjoy it while you can. Instead of spending your time bitching and moaning about how things are and trolling those who are actually trying to make a positive difference, then just give it a rest. If you don't care, then rest assured in your apathy and back out of the road of progress. Sit idly by on the sidelines, drinking your beer on your sofa or whatever, not wanting to go anywhere but to only enjoy your last years doing nothing of positive value. And make sure that you don't have any kids. Or if you have, and by the way, I need to make a small disclaimer here just before I say this, that I'm not advocating this at all, but maybe you should, but if you really don't care, then maybe you should consider putting them down. Because if you let them live, then that would mean that you would have to care about the future. Otherwise, you brought them into the world to either subject them to the result of your apathy concerning the future, or for no reason whatsoever. I mean, I completely understand that it is far easier and far less strain upon your brain and everything else to simply not give a damn and let it all go down the tubes. I understand that. And if that is your way of dealing with it, fine, go for it, enjoy it. Just stay down there in your pit of apathy and don't come out to try and bring others down with you who actually do care. Okay, so to sum up, if there's one thing you should definitely do, if you honestly don't care about the future, then stay out of the way of those who do care. But anyway, that's enough for this show. I've run out of time. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting, sending me questions. It's been fantastic. Next time I'm going to be bringing you part 2 of the interview I did with Ben McLeish that was entitled What Comprises the Current Zeitgeist. But other than that, take care now. Bye bye.